after this talk. And obviously we'll be back here tomorrow for our Katina ceremony. There's many things which we're doing. So even though that I won't be here at 9 o'clock, I think please stay in this room because Daniel will be just giving some information about the cleanup because many of you will be leaving. I'm not quite sure. How many of you are staying for the Katina ceremony? How many are staying tonight? Oh, most of you, very good. So it's nice for you to help clean up the place, and she'll give information about cleaning up your rooms for tomorrow. And tomorrow you'll be able to enjoy this incredible, joyful ceremony of the Katina. And at the same time, there'll be lots of free time as well for you. I mean, you're going to Dhammasara this afternoon, many of you, to see the nuns monastery, and then, you come back here in the evening. So it'll be still lots of time for peace and quiet. So don't think a retreat ever ends, because the meditation which you have to do, it still keeps on going day after day, because that way you build up speed. Sometimes it's so easy to spend money, but it's hard to make money. As you know, you can work, you get all this money, and you go shopping and you spend it in an afternoon. Same like with meditation. It takes such a long time to get peace, and you can spend it too quickly. So after myself doing that so many times, even though others will be running around and making lots of noise, I try and keep quiet if I possibly can. So that's why this afternoon or this evening and tomorrow, even though there may be a lot of people out here, those of you staying here have got your rooms, your little caves. So if you want to meditate any time tomorrow, just go and hide in your rooms and meditate there. And that's the best way to celebrate the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, by being peaceful and quiet. But during this retreat, some of you have come for the first time, some of you have been here many times, and that's always going to be the case, which is why when I teach a retreat, I try and arrange it so it's adaptable to all people. The people who are just starting, to the people, who are at university level, and everything in between. So everybody has a chance to go at their own pace. One of the reasons why I don't have any schedule, no bells, because sometimes I remember many times, when I first started meditating for an hour was just too much. 20 minutes was about my maximum, and after that it became just torture. And in fact, if you ever read the newspapers, you see that that's actually what they do in modern torture camps. It's called a prolonged stress position, and that's sitting cross-legged without moving. It's against human rights. If Amnesty International caught some of these people on retreat, they'd have sent them off to the Human Rights Tribunal in The Hague. So you make sure this is done calmly, peacefully, at a person's own space. So that's where you don't have... And so that was the first, it was too long meditation. Then later on, when you really got into it, you were an hour went by, and then somebody, they just bang, and you're just about to get into jhana, or just be able to become enlightened, or develop your ability to fly, and bang. And that was so disappointed sometimes. Because some of you, if you have a schedule, sometimes the 50 minutes or the hour is not enough. Some it's too much. And does it make a lot of sense to put aside the bells and actually to be natural? So when you're meditating, you feel, can you hear okay? When you feel like meditating a long time, you just carry on. When you feel it's a short time, you make it a short time. It's just common sense, it's wisdom, it's compassion, it's the sort of thing which the Buddha would tell you to do. So that's why we held this retreat in this way. And yeah, we did have rules, the 8 precepts and noble silence, but of course, many of you broke those rules, and I know that you broke those rules. That's why we don't enforce the rules, because even the rules, it's up to you to want to keep these things. And no one is forcing you, no one is telling you. So after a while, you realize the greatest discipline must always be the self-discipline. To say that even in a noisy world, I will keep quiet. And listen, how many times has your mouth got you into big trouble? Too many times already. So it's good to try and restrain that mouth. Do it when you're very young, because when you're old, it becomes impossible. It's true. It's one of my insights. I got this myself just by observing human nature. When a person gets old, their eyes get very weak, and their ears are also not so good. They find difficulty in hearing. And their hands shake, their legs are weak. Everything gets weaker and weaker. Even their brain, the memory gets weaker. But the one thing which gets stronger with age is your mouth. The older you are, the more you can talk. And that never stops with old people. Wouldn't it be great if their ears got clearer and their eyes got clearer and their mouth shut up? A much happier time. So we try and keep as quiet as possible. And that's something you can learn in your life as well. Now, what the Buddha said was that it's the small streams make all the noise, but the great rivers flow silently. Isn't it nice? So if you want to be a great river, you flow silently through your life. Then when you do say something, when you do speak, people really listen. Wow, she's spoken. I mentioned earlier that when I first came here, I was a number 2 monk. And it was my training, the tradition in northeast Thailand, that if you're number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 monk, you're always quiet. And the head monk does all the teaching. Doesn't matter who's wise, that's their job. So when I first came here for about 6 or 7 months, Ajahn Brahm was here, but he gave all the talks, answered all the questions, did all the counseling, and I would just sit next to him as his attendant, getting him a cup of tea or running errands for him, but I was very quiet. And then what happened, he went to Thailand to visit the monastery, so I had to take over, and I had to do all the talking. And then this about 13 or 14-year-old girl came up to me, and she said, look, I've been coming every week, and only Ajahn Brahm would talk. You would always be silent. I thought you were retarded. I said, no, I can talk too, but I can restrain my speech. And he said, that was really impressive. so it's nice you said that. But anyway, it's nice to be calm and quiet. So when you do speak, people actually really listen to you. Your speech is like a treasure. So be very careful with the speech, because sometimes it's too much chit-chat, chat-chit. And what does it ever achieve? Sometimes, people think that you have to talk to be friendly with somebody. But how many times has your talking created enemies? A smile is much greater for friendship than anything you can say. Your body language. So in this world, we try and speak little, smile a lot, and just be kind. And then you become a very wise and wonderful person. But that's just one of the things we've done here. But I haven't forced that on you because, again, we want everybody to learn. And sometimes the best way of learning is through mistakes. But when you have mistakes, especially during this retreat, there are times you've been very peaceful and there's times you've suffered and get frustrated. It's okay to make mistakes and get frustrated and suffer as long as you learn from those experiences. Which is why one of the most famous, one of my favorite stories from the Buddhist texts is a simile of the 5 horses. And the simile of the 5 horses goes like this, and afterwards you can identify with which horse you think you are. The first horse is told by their teacher, by their trainer, go to the left or go to the right. And the teacher only has to say it once, and the horse will do that. So, if I'm your teacher, and I'll tell you, you can sit down, be quiet, let go. As soon as I say it, you do it. The second horse is a bit more stubborn. So you don't just have to say, go to the left, go to the right. The rider of the horse has to get out the whip, and just a shadow falls on the horse's back, and the horse knows, look, I better behave, otherwise I'm going to be in big trouble. It's just like, you start meditating, you do something a little bit wrong, you're trying, or you're talking, or you're messing around, and you realize there's a little bit of suffering coming. Just a shadow of it is enough to say, oh, I better sort of do things right from now on. The third type of horse is a bit more stubborn. It's harder to teach. So you just have to touch it very lightly with the stick. Just touch it. And it don't hurt it, but you realize, if I carry on like this, there's going to be a lot of pain and suffering. So then it follows the instructions. The fourth horse is more stubborn. You have to whack it. Whack. Ow, 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 ow. Only once. You only suffer once. And then you know to behave afterwards. In other words, you never get frustrated more than once in meditation. You get hurt once, and then you learn. For the fifth horse, whack, 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 and it still doesn't learn. And which horse are you? Who puts their hand up? Horse number 5. Put your hand up. There you go. Yes, that's you. Oh, come on. Why keep on suffering? So if you do have any problems, learn from them. So don't be like that fifth horse. You have a relationship trouble, an argument, you get really hurt afterwards. And you have another argument, you get hurt again, You're like that fifth horse. Learn from these things. Why did it happen? Meditating, getting frustrated. Learn from it so you don't have to get frustrated again. Don't be the fifth horse. And the best is the first horse. Look, I've given you all the instructions. You don't need to get hurt. Just let go, relax, smile, forgive. Oh, I should mention that because somebody asked that question for me. I wasn't here last night, but somebody put a little question out for me this morning, because in the earlier talk I said, as long as you've got rid of your idea of a self, then it's so easy to forgive because you don't have any guilt, then you're a stream winner. But it has to go in that order. You learn no self, first of all. That's a tough thing to do. As long as you think you're there, then you won't really be able to let go too much. That's actually a deep simile. I'll give you a deep simile now. I'm a monk. So the first thing I had to do when I became a monk was give up sex, and girls. And then as soon as I gave that up, I found I was eating too much. I was getting really addicted to food. So I said, no, give that up. Come on, just eat simply. Now mix all your food in a bowl. And as soon as I gave that up, you got addicted to something else. And it was always my life. You let go one thing and you picked up something else. And you put that down and you picked up something else. This idea of letting go and attaching. Okay, you let go of the world and then you get attached to your meditation. You let go of the meditation and get attached to something else. There was this one monk in the monastery once. He had his one meal of the day and he was looking at it. He said, I'm attached. So he pushed his bowl away. And then he thought, no, that's just being clever and proud. So he pulled his bowl towards himself. He said, no, that's attached to the senses. No, that's just attached to being proud. And he kept on pulling his bowl backwards and forwards like that. It's so difficult to let go, because you let go of one thing, you pick up another. And after a while, I still worked out what's going on, because I see what I'm doing with my hand to pick up this thing. Have you ever seen me doing that? You put this one down, you pick up something else to play with. Then you pick up this to play with. You put it down, come put it down. In a few minutes, I'm picking up something else. Because that's the nature of a hand. It picks things up. That's its nature. You can't stop it. You try never picking up anything. It's absolutely impossible. That's this very innate nature. Just like your sense of self will always pick up things. That's its innate nature. You can't change that. So the only way for me to stop picking things up is to cut off my hand. Then I will never pick up things. And that's exactly the same as my mind. If I can cut off the sense of self to realize there's no one in here, I can just be relaxed, then you can really let go of things, such as the past and such as guilt. You know that the weird thing about that story is that came to me by, I really sort of worked that out myself. That was my own insight. And then later, it was afterwards, I started reading through the Samyutta Nikaya. And then I came to the Buddha's simile of the hand. Oh my goodness. Almost word for word, the Buddha's simile. And that was really spooky. When you can figure out a simile which was exactly the same as the Buddha's. Obviously it was from a past life, but in this life, you thought, wow, I worked that out for myself. just like the Buddha. And that was really, really spooky. But it was a great simile. So, really, the idea is, you can try to forgive yourself, you'll never be able to. Yet. You'll always have a residual amount of guilt inside of you. You may go to confessions, and some big shot, it might be even the Pope, may go and sort of forgive you. Or even the Buddha, in the time of the Buddha would say, Claire, I forgive you. It still wouldn't work. Because in the end, you have to forgive yourself. And the only way to do that is to realize there's no one in here. So you can let go. You're like nothing sticks to you. You're like this sky which nothing can be pinned on. So even the past can't be pinned on you. So this is a powerful part of this teaching. The more you can let go of your idea of self and who you think you are, the more you can let go of the past, and especially of guilt, and be free. And when you've totally let go of the idea of a self, and you know you're just this process, you're not a girl, you're not a boy, you're a body which keeps on changing. I've noticed this, that when you see kids, you're not quite sure who's a boy and a girl. They can't see their private parts, and they're all clothed up, and they look the same. And then when we get to puberty, the girls and the boys look different. But then, when they get old, if you didn't dye your hair and wear padded bras, and you would look exactly the same as the boys. Well, that's the joke. Remember the joke I told the first night? About the old woman who wanted to shoot herself? That's right, in the knee. You remember that one? So everyone looks the same. So this idea of gender, it's just, for reproductive, finding partners and having kids, that time we actually divert. And we do actually look and actually feel different. And then as we get to old age, if it wasn't for all the different hairstyles we were allowed or the clothes, we look pretty much the same. To me, that's actually quite beautiful. We start the same. We just have this time when we're different, for reproductive purposes, and then we come back together again. Men and women about the same. So, who are you? You're not female, you're not male, you're not gay, you're not lesbian, you're nothing, you're just a body, that's all. And then you go deeper inside, your mind, which is often defined by the past. I'm a graduate in chemistry. What that means is sometime, long time in the past, that happened. And it's wonderful to be able to let everything go. Because then you can be like chameleon. Chameleon can change its color to fit its environment. Same as your mind. You can fit in anywhere. That's a wonderful thing to be able to do. So I can play the entertainer, I can play the quiet monk, I can play the builder, I can play the author. So many little roles I can play, because none of them are really me. That's where you can really let things go. And if you make a mistake, it doesn't matter, even the worst mistakes. I'll tell you one of the worst things I did. Okay, because you really love your mother. You know what, I think I must have been about 10 years of age. Some of the silly stories. I was about 10 years of age, I think, and in London there was a craze, a food craze, called pie and eels, or eels and mash sometimes. It was an East End dish, and had these eels, which they got from probably, I don't know where, the sewers or whatever, and they would boil the eels, and with mashed potatoes and a bit of gravy. And that was like a delicacy. It was like from the East End of London, a Cockney dish. And for a while they had this almost like a franchise, the Eels and Mash shop coming up. And so one opened just down the road from where I lived. And it just happened to be my mother's birthday. So I decided to give her a gift. I went to the pie and eel shop and asked for a live eel. That was really naughty. And I got that live eel and put it in a nice box and put like this birthday wrapping paper on it. And it showed how much restraint I had at those days to be able to hand my mother this birthday present with a straight face. So she never suspected. Hello, Mum, happy birthday. Oh, that's very cute of you. And she opened it up, and this eel reared up. Ah! For a 10-year-old kid, that was very funny. For my mother, she almost died of heart attack. Okay, so look, that's who I am. Okay, but I laugh at that. That's a stupid thing to do, a wrong thing to do. But you don't sort of carry that around with guilt anymore. So you can let it go and be free and laugh at all the stupid things you did. So that's the only way we can let go of the past. When we realize there's no one in here, then there's nothing to hold on to. We can really let things go. That's why this path, you meditate, you become still, things disappear. Your body disappears. Totally. You're having such a wonderful time in these beautiful nimitta states. If you haven't had it yet, it will come. Don't worry about it. You've done the work, you're just waiting for the check, waiting for the transfer to be approved by the bank to appear in your account. It's going to happen, just wait for a while. So what happens is that, it comes eventually, and you realize this body, it's not mine. I'm not a girl, I'm not Singaporean, I'm not English, I'm not Polish, I'm nothing, I'm just a body, that's all. And then you look inside your mind, this sixth sense, you realize just how much that changes too. One day you're happy, the next day you're sad. Which one is the real you? None of them, it's just the mind changing, that's all. Just like the sky. So after a while you realize you don't need to hold on to anything, which means you can always change. You can always be free. That's actually how the guilt disappears. And it's not a small thing either. To actually experience that emptiness inside is very profound. It changes the way you look at life and also makes you so much happier and free. You can be light-hearted because you don't carry anything anymore. And it's really important to be able to do this in life, because otherwise we have so much suffering, so much pain, so much worry. Much of that is, what happened to you or what you did in the past, all the difficulties and problems you face. And because you have faced much suffering in the past, it always gives us fear it's going to come up again sometime. We're going to have to deal with it again. But if you know how to let go of the past, you can let go of the future as well. The two go together. And it's such an important thing to be able to do. So important that usually at the end of the retreat I tell this story. And this is the story. I like telling stories because it's the stories you remember. It encapsulates a message much more than just little statements. And this was the story of, again, a professor. And please forgive the professors, they always end up in trouble. Long time ago, there was a professor, from Singapore, and he was coming to Australia to give a series of lectures. And in those days, there were no aircraft, so he had to go in these passenger boats. So he went on the passenger boat from Singapore to sail to Australia to give a series of lectures. And after dinner, on the boat, he went for a walk on the deck just for some exercise. And there he saw this old man, like an old sailor. He was just looking up at the heavens. It was a beautiful, clear night. And his hobby was astronomy. So he thought, these sailors, they must spend days and months of their life out in the open ocean, staring up at the stars above them. They must be experts on stars. They actually use those stars to navigate before GPS. And so he went up to him and said, "It's a beautiful night tonight." The sailor said, "Yes." You see Alpha Centauri over there? He said, "Alpha what?" He said, "That's the name of the star." "Oh, really?" And the professor said, "Don't you know anything about the stars?" He said, "No." "What? I mean, all these years at sea, you've never bothered to open up a book and learn about the heavens above you?" He said, "No." And the professor was quite disgusted. "You stupid old man. What a waste of a life." And he just walked away. Why waste time with someone who's so stupid who never learns about the world around them? The next night at sea, he had a very lovely dinner. And so he was in such a good mood, when he saw the sailor looking down into the waters of the sea, he decided to give him another chance. Because his other hobby was marine science. And he went up to the old sailor and said, "You've probably been sailing these oceans such a long time." "Ever since I was a 16-year-old boy," said the sailor. And now I'm about 65, 70. I lived a long time on these waters. He said, you must have seen some amazing animals. You must know a lot about marine science. Marine what? Said the old sailor. You know about what lives in the ocean and the currents and the way the whole thing works. Don't know a thing about that, said the sailor. What, all these years at sea and you never bothered to learn about the ocean underneath you? Nope. You stupid old man. You stupid old man. What a waste of a life. What a waste of a life. And he was disgusted, and so he walked away. The third night at sea, don't worry, it's only 4 nights at sea. The third night at sea, it was such a delicious dinner and such a beautiful evening. This like ocean breeze was wafting over the sea. And he was so delighted that when he saw this sailor again, he thought, I'll just give him one last chance. And so he went up to the sailor and said, it's a beautiful breeze this evening. He said, yes. He said, the wind blows the sails of your ship, and if there's a storm, it can cause you great danger. I underestimated you the last 2 nights, said the professor. As a sailor, maybe you don't need to know about marine science or astronomy, but you have to know about the weather. That powers your ship and can even sink it. And he said, actually, I'm going to Perth to give a series of lectures on meteorology. What? So does that meteorology, the weather, the storms, the wind. Don't you know anything about that? And the old man said, I don't know anything about meteorology. What? Said the professor. You are such a stupid old man. Stupid, stupid, stupid. And wasting your life. Waste, waste, waste. All these years at sea, and you never bothered to notice or learn about the heavens above you, the sea underneath you, and the weather around you. Well, I'm not going to talk to you again. And the professor just walked off. And the 4th night at sea, he didn't have dinner because that little wind had built up to a storm. And if you've ever been at the ocean when there's a storm, the boat rocks and rocks. And he suffered seasickness. So he decided not to have any dinner, but to stay in his cabin. But as the night got later and later, the storm got worse and worse. And he just couldn't sleep as the boat rocked and rolled more and more precariously. And suddenly in the middle of the night, there's a big crack. And he was so scared, he got up and went to the cabin door. And he opened it. And who do you think was running outside? The old sailor. And the old sailor stopped for a moment, turned to the professor and said, Professor, in all your years, have you ever learned anything about swimming? Actually, no, said the professor. You stupid old professor, what a waste of a life. The ship is sinking. Although that's a funny story, but there's a meaning to that. Okay, you may learn about biology, about accountancy or economics. There's many, many things you may learn, IT. But what's the most important thing to learn if you're sailing on a ship which could sink any moment? To swim, yeah. To be able to keep your head above water in the storms of life. So the most important thing to learn is how to be at peace, even though there's turmoil around you. How to be kind when other people are being mean. And how to be free while others are in prison. How to swim. How to make peace. How to let go. How to be kind. And that's what you're hearing here and learning here. This is swimming lessons. In Ajahn Brahm. So it's like, what's really important in life? Because that means what you learn here, to be able to meditate, just to let things go, not to disturb the noise. Because if you can learn here not to worry about when your neighbor smashes the door and wakes you up in the middle of the night, if you can learn to be at peace with that, who knows, maybe later on you can be at peace with your partner. You can be at peace with your boss. You can be at peace with life, no matter what it does. And the little irritations, of this retreat, if you can learn to be at peace with them, maybe you may be able to be at peace with cancers and other diseases. This is what you learn, how to swim, how to keep your head above waters and be peaceful, no matter what's happening. So I taught you many, many things over the last few days. Many of those things you think you've forgotten, but they're in there. I've put them in. You're already brainwashed. It's already too late. And when you go home, when you go back to work, whatever you do, some of those little sayings will come up. And they will remind you, and they will help you keep your head above waters in the storms of your life. Turmoil will come when you have another way of dealing with it, another way of making peace, of being kind and letting things be. It may be the death of a loved one. And before you would just get so upset, and now you can just let it be. And be kind. And be gentle. There's many things you'll find you'll be able to do. And that's why a retreat like this is not just learning how to meditate and be still. It's learning how to be with life in the present moment. No fear of the future. No pain from the past. Free. So, having summed up the retreat, it's usually my custom to finish the formal part of the retreat with a beautiful loving kindness meditation. So, I'm going to ask you now just to get yourself comfortable. Get in your meditation position. And then to close your eyes. Because it's loving kindness meditation, I'm going to put my teddy in front. So just close your eyes. Be aware of your body. If you're coughing, just cough. Be kind. Let the body do what it needs to do. And just be at peace with this moment. All the past, everything which has ever happened to you, especially at this retreat, imagine it just like this trolley you've been dragging behind you, and now you let it go, so you're free. Like a backpack you've been carrying on your shoulders, and now you take it off. Like a bag you've been carrying in your hands, and you put them down. The past is a burden. We let it go. And as for the future, what's going to happen next? Yeah, you've got many exciting plans, many things you're going to do, but not now. This moment is a time for rest, for stopping the journey through time, pausing and being right here, right now. Many times we experience our body at first. See how much you can relax your body. If there's any tight muscles or bones or organs or whatever, if there's any tension anywhere in your body, just focus on that and be kind to it. Give it the compassion of a Buddha. Ache, pain. The door of my heart is open to you. You can just be. I will not fight you anymore. That's called letting things be. And see if you can experience your body relaxing, just like it's been to a spa, being massaged. Yeah, there's a few aches and pains there, but that's normal. But you're at peace with your body. Accepting it, being at one with your body as it is right now. So once your body is relaxed, then just focus on your breathing for a minute or two. Just to know the breath as it comes in. To know the breath as it goes out. To know the breath as it comes in. To know it as it goes out. This breath has been feeding you energy, taking out all the waste products and toxins. It brings you oxygen from the trees and the bushes of this compound. That's where the oxygen comes from. And you feed out carbon dioxide, which is what the plants need to grow. So every breath you take connects you with all that's green and alive in this forest. You breathe in a gift from the trees. You breathe out a gift of carbon dioxide for the flowers and bushes. You are part of this nature, at one with it. Now to begin the loving kindness meditation. Please imagine an object, a being, who you find it really easy to develop thoughts of loving kindness towards. It might be the person you're more closest to in this life, or maybe an imaginary being. It may be the little teddy bear in front of me. Something which is so easy to give thoughts and feelings of loving kindness towards. For those of you who've met Muti, Danya's rabbit, you might imagine that. And imagine that being, a rabbit, a baby, a puppy, a kitten, a teddy bear, is alone, abandoned, hungry, and so afraid, like many beings are in our world today. And you reach out your hand to care for them. They need you. Little Muti would not be able to survive without you. So many beings need us. And we want to feed them and care for them and protect them. So imagine this imaginary or real being. And imagine that you are looking into their eyes. In their eyes you see fear and need. And in your heart you take away their fear. Little being, I will care and protect you. I will never harm or hurt you or cause you pain, because I love and care for you. Little being, I'm this big human with so many resources. Little kitten, I know you can't go to the cat shop and buy food. I will buy it for you. I will feed you, care for you, pet you, stroke you, warm you on my lap. Little being, you have a friend. With an imaginary being, it's much easier to start to generate these feelings of loving kindness. And you keep imagining this being. In your own way, you generate these feelings of warm and comforting and caring and protecting. Feelings which we call love, selfless, caring love. Just wanting this being to be safe, to be warm, protected, and most importantly, this being knows it's loved. May you always be happy and well, dear being. Wherever you go in the world, know you have a friend who's there for you, will help you, will drop things immediately to support you. Dear being, know that someone loves you, just for who you are. Dear little imaginary being, you don't have to pass any tests to fulfill any obligations. I just love you anyway. As you give this beautiful, unconditional love without strings to your imaginary being. I usually use a kitten because it's so easy to love a kitten. At least I feel so. Stroking it, caring for it. And imagine hearing the little kitten purr. Hearing the rabbit do whatever rabbits do when they're happy. People do whatever they do. Their face breaking out into a smile, their eyes sparkling as they realize they're loved. Dear being, may you always be free of pain and fear. My goal is your happiness, your peace, your freedom. And as you develop these commentary on loving kindness, see if you can experience a sensation which for me is around the chest area, a tingling, the physical counterpart to loving kindness. It helps know that the loving kindness is being turned on, is being generated and magnified. Because I see and feel this sensation, this tingling, exciting feeling in the area on my chest, just outside my heart. And then change the imaginary being to a real one. To the person you're closest to in this life, not yourself, but another friend. It may be your partner, your lover, your husband, your wife, your kid, your best friend. Imagine them as if they were right in front of you now. They too suffer, have pain, sicknesses, fear of death, the grief when they lose someone who's so dear to them. Look at them and see they're fragile too. They're vulnerable. They need you. So you give them your love. Dear friend, dear partner, life is difficult walking alone, so I'll walk with you. I'll hold your hand when you need support. I will just comfort you when life is so bad that you just don't know where to go. When you cry, I'll be there with a box of tissues and a friendly smile. Dear being, the door of my heart is fully open to you. I truly wish you well, comfort and happiness. My job is help protect you from the suffering of the world, to support, encourage, to laugh with you, to comfort you. Dear being, my best friend, my partner, my loved one, I truly care for you. As you send out all this power of metta towards a being you're very close to. And how does that feel? The mind starts to get soft and gooey, I say, being a man. And the chest gets very excited and tingly, even more so. I imagine it's like a golden light, this beautiful, powerful ball warming, coming from my heart, taking my energy of love and bathing the person who's so close to me in this world, bathing them with all my love, my care, my good energy, my wish for happiness, peace, release from suffering, everything. Truly, with 100% sincerity, wish you happiness and well-being. When you practice metta, it has to start with a small fire and build until it's stronger and stronger. And once it's strong enough, you can stop imagining your best friend and the one closest to you. And instead, still with your eyes closed, imagine all the people in this room. All the people like you who have gone on this journey of meditation. It's not always easy. You have some beautiful moments and some very testing moments too. We all go through this. It gives us a feeling that we are a family on this path, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. This is your spiritual family. And in this moment, you open the door of your heart to all the people who have been meditating here. If there's anything that anyone has done to irritate me, I've probably irritated you more than you've irritated me. So let's forgive each other out of metta, out of love. Because I truly care for each one of you, because you care for each one in this room. So you send out this beautiful loving kindness, this golden light coming from your chest to all the people in this room. May you all be free of pain and suffering. May disappointment vanish quickly. May you laugh and dance and be happy. And enjoy the meditation, enjoy your life. If there is any difficulties in life, please remember the greatest success is having good friends. And I'll be one of those. As you give this beautiful, unconditional, unbounded loving kindness, unrestricted, to all beings in this room, and this golden light just suffuses every corner, every dark space in every person's heart, brightening up the shadow side, giving healing and forgiveness, physical and emotional. May all beings in this room be free of suffering. Be happy to be here. Feel this beautiful sense of contentment and the warmth, knowing that many people care for you, really care. As you feel this beautiful softness inside of you. As you give love, then you can receive it back. The heart softens, the mind opens, and happiness pours in. May all beings in this room be at peace. Be wise to avoid the suffering of life. To realize that all the disappointments are just more fertilizer for your wisdom and compassion. To realize that you are okay. You are good enough. You're more than good enough. You're a beautiful being on this planet. And the planet welcomes you and is proud and happy to feel your step on its surface. And then you start to spread this beautiful light, golden light of loving kindness beyond these walls It's here that is incubated. Here it's generated. And now you send it out to the birds who welcome us every morning, to the cook, the caretaker, and everybody who's helped this retreat. To the birds, the kangaroos, the things which creep on the floor, all beings in this compound. In this moment, may you have no fear. In this moment, may your pain disappear. In this moment, each in your own ways, may you be happy and feel the great freedom, knowing that no matter what species, we love each other, respect each other, and care. As this golden light spreads over the whole forest, it goes down Kingsby Drive to the monastery where many of my great friends are working hard, getting ready for tomorrow. Up the road to the prison where many people are suffering the guilt of what they've done. And all in between, the houses, the farms, the post offices, the people in the cars going south and those going north, going in all directions. May all beings in this vicinity be kind to one another. May the arguments just be put aside for a moment and the distrust replaced by care. May all beings in this vicinity be at peace, free of pain and happy. Spread it further afield, the great cities on this west coast of Australia and the rest of Australia. This golden light spreading further and further, spreading up across the oceans to your homelands. Wherever you've come from across this planet, there are people who you love, people who you know, people who are in pain. You give them your energy of kindness. My friends, my colleagues, the people whose country I share my life with, may all you beings know that I love you all. I care for you. I truly wish you happiness and well-being. And any arguments, any mistrust, I forgive the lot. Let's all let go of the past, to be at peace in the present, to give great fortune for our future. To give this beautiful, warm, loving kindness, spreading over your home cities, spreading into the prisons and the hospitals where people are in such pain, where the relations are in those waiting rooms, hoping for the good news. May all beings in the whole world, humans and all species, in this moment, may they receive my love and care. My sincere and powerful wish for you to be free of pain and suffering, at ease with yourself and the whole world. In particular, I want you now to interrupt by thinking of one person who's a long distance away, and zap them with as much loving kindness as you possibly can. Imagine them right in front of you and giving them all the warmth and kindness and care you can. Just one person, right now. I really wish you well. I really care for you. Every ounce of my love, my care, my goodwill is going to you. Now, imagine you're standing in front of your mirror in the morning, seeing yourself. the one person we've left out of this loving kindness. Now give it to you. Dear me, I care for me. In this moment, doesn't matter what I've done, who I am, I give myself the gift of unconditional loving kindness. I imagine these doors in my own heart being open wide to myself. Me, I totally accept who I am. Let go of all the painful ideas such as guilt and criticism and lack of self-esteem. I give myself total acceptance and love and warmth and kindness. May I be happy and well. And I really mean that. I really wish myself joy, happiness, freedom, good health. I wish myself the time to play and enjoy my friends, the time to rest. I wish myself peace, freedom, enlightenment, the whole works. Why? Because I deserve it. You give yourself the freedom to be happy by giving yourself love. As you give this metta, this golden light surrounding your body, penetrating your heart, suffusing everything inside. Love, unconditional, to yourself. Now imagine that ball of light contracting. Contracting, getting smaller and more concentrated, until it sits like this powerful, concentrated ball of golden love energy just above your heart. Imagine your heart like this pure white lotus, fully opened. And this ball of metta just sits on the top of that open lotus. And those pure, delicate leaves, petals, close up one after the other. Close up like a container, looking after that beautiful golden ball of love, to be opened up another time, more powerful, more effective every time, sitting in your heart, in the white lotus, in its center. How do you feel? Please sit quietly as I give you the final blessing. Sabbaroga vinimuto, sabba santapa vajito, sabba veramati gando, nibuto chatuang bhava, sabitio vivachantu, sabbarogo vinasatu mate, bhavanvantarayo, sukhi dikayugo bhava, Apiwadana silitsa nichang Utapachalino Chataro Dhamma Vatanti So, like all things, they have to come to an end. I have to go off to yet another appointment. So please stay in this room here, because Dania has to give you some final instructions. But as for me, bye-bye, bye-bye. And very good. So I'm sure I'll see you in Singapore or here tomorrow. So those of you staying, see you again soon.
Okay, so no one leave yet. Okay. Thanks for all the help in the duties and doing extra things when you saw that needed to be done. It was really, really wonderful. So we couldn't have had the retreat without all of your help. Okay, so cleaning instructions. So 9 o'clock, okay. Okay, Burr's allowed to leave. And the others, I think there's a few others outside. Okay, so basically we have the cleaning now until 11 o'clock. There's 3 stages: your room, your cottage, and then the whole center. Basically, there's no one hired to clean up because it's all the centers run on volunteer basis and on donation basis. So we have to clean up and just contribute towards keeping the place running, just so that we have another opportunity next time. So in your room, make sure the toilet is clean. Okay, the cleaning products are in the cupboard in each cottage. So there is a cleaning closet in each cottage. There's a toilet cleaner, a window cleaner, and another cleaner that you can clean for cupboards. And then some brooms. So you can dry sweep your room and the main area, and then mop your room. What you have to do is take the white mop with a little bit of methyl spirit. So you put a capsule of methyl spirit in a bucket of lukewarm water, put the white mop in it, and squeeze it. Oh, look, I can do this. And squeeze it so that there's no, so it's damp but not soaking. Okay? And then you mop your room. And for the toilet, make sure that you lift up the seat and there's no stains on the toilet seat, behind, the rims, the shower, the walls. Just give it a wipe so that there's no stains on it, the counter, and the floor. And you could empty your rubbish into the green bins outside. Now for the cottage, each room is allocated a task for the cottage cleanup. So you can see on the notice board there's room A, B, C, D, E, F, each room. But a few people had to go, so let's say, if something needs to be done, please do it. You can fill up the Milo, tea, coffee, all that in the kitchen. There's a pantry. So just ask the cook or just basically fill it up. So if you see Milo or coffee, just fill it up. Okay, the cottage, And then when you finish the cottage cleanup, your dirty mop, if you take the brush and brush off the dirt into the rubbish, and then the dirty mops, there is the green, the blue, and the white, 3, you just put in the laundry. Okay, so the last person to clean up, just put in the laundry and we'll clean all the mops together. Now there's 4 cottages that don't have a white mop. Oh, I left it on the golf buggy. He gave it to me. So I think there was cottage 4, 6, and 1, and another. Basically, if your cottage doesn't have a white mop, I think Burr's going to bring it. If it doesn't come in back in time, it's on the golf buggy, or Burr's going to bring it. Okay. Now the center cleanup. Each cottage is allocated a task for the retreat center cleanup. So we'll do everything before lunch, and cottages 8, 9, 10 are people that are from Perth. So you guys are doing the dining hall and kitchen because the Singapore group has to leave at 12. So the kitchen and dining room cleanup we'll do after lunch. So cottages 8, 9, 10. And we're preparing for the katina, so I made a diagram of how the tables need to be set up. So if there's some guys, you know, we can help make 4 rows of 6 tables. So I made a diagram. So, but we'll fix that up for the katina ceremony tomorrow. Okay, here, when we leave here, we're going to take the brown cover. I mean, if it's smelly, if it's dirty, then you can put it in the washing machine. But I mean, it should be fine because I mean, we're not sweating on it or anything. So so just fold gently your brown mat cover and put it on the racks. And we're going to pile the mats in the corner. If it gets too tall, we can put some in a meditation hall. And then these chairs will stack around here. And whoever's on dining room cleanup, the storage room is across the dining hall, okay? So you can have a look who's on, I forget which cottage. But so we're all going to empty the room. People on dining hall cottage will clean up. And then I'll bring the vacuum for the walking meditation halls. The cleaning cupboard, there's one next to the women's toilet right here. And there's one next to the laundry, and there's one across the kitchen. So here are the mops. So there's 4 cottages missing white mops.
Cottage 1.
Cottage 1.
Who is in cottage 1?
Oh, we'll give it to Lynn. And then there's a few. 4.
And
6. And I think there's one more too. Okay, very good. And if you're missing a yellow mop or a white mop, just come to me. Okay, another thing. Okay, and whoever's missing, and each room has to have one cloth like this. So if you don't have a cloth like this, then you can come get one. And after the retreat, bring all the mops and dirty cloths into the washing machine. We'll wash it, and then after the retreat, those that are staying behind, we can help put one back in the cottage. If we get like 5 people to help, you know, we'll get the place done. Okay, when you leave your room, make sure the window is down and the shutter is down, because if it rains, it's not good. And any maintenance that needs to be done, drink a leaking water tap. We have a few. If your hot water wasn't hot, I think I heard that there are some problems with the hot water system. I mean, we've always had problems with the solar hot water system. So if it hasn't been hot, write it down so we can have a look at it. You know, if it's still under warranty, we can get it fixed. Yeah. Oh yeah, but with the booster, yeah, if the booster didn't work, or if it was sunny and the water wasn't hot, you can mention that. Then we'll check it out. And any maintenance, there is a sheet of paper. You know where you write your interview names? I put a sheet of paper there with maintenance, so you can write it there. Or, yeah, okay. Okay, the talks have been recorded, so they will be put on the BSWA website soon, maybe let some time. And they're also on YouTube, actually, daily, so you can check out on YouTube. Put Ajahn Brahm and then latest upload. Okay, there's if you want to buy some of Ajahn Brahm's books, there's the meditation book, Happiness Through Meditation. There's the story book of, you know, the stories. And there is the Simply This Moment, which is someone transcribed some talks he gave to the monks. So you can buy them, they're $25, and there's some CDs that you can purchase as well. I think they're 10 from past retreats. Okay, right. One more. Oh, most important. Okay, so those from Perth who I contacted that there's room on this retreat, if you haven't put your donation in yet, please put some in the box. There's still some expenses that need to be covered for the retreat. So I mean, this place, it's on donation basis, but there are bills to pay. And you know, if we want this place to continue and have another opportunity, then please contribute. I mean, you guys Singaporeans, you've already, don't worry about it, it's just for the people from Perth. You guys they already did. Okay, and then also if we maintain, this is a meditation retreat center, so it's not a social club or party place. So if we maintain silence and keep practicing throughout the day, because there are some people continuing on self-retreat, and to respect others, let's just maintain you know, some silence. And if you need to say anything, then quietly put it aside, but don't just talk for the sake of talking, please, because it'll be chaos. We're still a meditation retreat center. Okay. That's good. Any other questions? I think I mentioned everything. Oh yeah, and then when you leave your cottage, make sure if you turn the booster on that it's on green. Green is off. So everything should be red, and then the last switch that says water booster, it has to be down, green. So everything's red, and then booster's on green, which is off. Shutters closed, and leave your windows, your cottage door unlocked, and your key, you return it after lunch. So after lunch, we'll collect the keys, and those who are going to Dhammasara Nuns Monastery are leaving at 12, right? So in front of so meet at the front. Now, if we finish lunch by 11:30 to have enough time for cleanup, now some people will have to leave at 12, so maybe those that are staying behind could help go in the kitchen, see what needs to be done to finish, because there are people who are leaving at 12 for the nuns monastery. And I think anybody going to Subiaco, someone needs a lift? Well, we'll find someone tomorrow. Okay, just in case. Okay, so that's it. Any questions? Yeah?
We are leaving after Katina tomorrow.
Yeah. I think people who are leaving after Katina tomorrow already have their flights arranged, right, with Leong and Mark?
So we hand them the key.
Oh, yeah, those who are leaving tomorrow, give in your key when you leave tomorrow or whenever. Oh, yeah, and all the information about the cleanup, also which cottages do what, is in the dining hall. Okay, so now we're just going to fold our mats, stack the mats, put the cushions around here. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and whoever borrowed any sheets, just put it in the laundry if you're leaving today, but if you're leaving tomorrow, then put it on quick cycle tomorrow when you wake up, and then you can hang it up.